time for the main event.
All right. I don't know. It says resume. We're going to check, again, the YouTube. Let me know if you guys can hear us. For some reason, YouTube never fails, but if it is, I'm going to kill this stream. We'll go live in just a second.
We're not frozen anymore.
We're not frozen anymore. All right. Saludos to everybody just joining us. It's your boy Dave from the 408, from the Shoe Shine, all the way from my podcast studio in San Jose, Califas. Joining me always is my co-host from the city of brotherly love, Philly Irish Drew EVo. Que pasa, homie? Take two.
What's up, Dave?
Oh, shit. I think we froze again. It says Ecamm quit unexpectedly. Are we still live?
Yep.
We're live. Okay,
yep.
Cool. Fuck. That is a trip, man. Wow. All right, guys. Incredible weekend, or not. Whatever it was. It was two trilogies. I said it was trilogies for the book, Drew. One of them was a fantastic trilogy featuring some of the two best smaller weight class fighters, future Hall of Famers, in Juan Francisco Estrada versus Chocolatito from Nicaragua. And Drew, we got that one wrong. Hey, good for Estrada, right? We got it wrong. It happens. Estrada came to fight, man, and Chocolatito, maybe he looked a little bit old. And then you had Tyson Fury, of course, the Gypsy King all the way in the UK, that could sell a stadium out fighting dog shit. Because Chisora looked like dog shit, man. We've talked about Chisora needing to retire, and it looks like, he really should hang it all up, man. So, Drew, I want to get your hot take on both of these fights. Let's start off with Tyson Fury versus Chisora 3. Stay busy or tune-up fight? How do you call that one?
Well, he did better than Dillian White. He lasted longer.
Dillian White. Oh, man. Another fighter we could just not talk about. Dillian White, man. Tyson Fury looked bloated as usual, man. I saw people joking about his love handles bouncing up and down, look like butt cheeks. Did you see that?
Yeah, well, if you look at it like this, you'll call Dillian White as the mandatory title fight. And, the British people, he's gonna cast Fury and everything, and Tyson Fury just dominates him and knocks him out in the 5 rounds and everything. Chisora, I believe, has a better chin. Stayed in there for 10 rounds.
Right.
Absorbed punishment.
Right.
And everything. He got a little bit of an offense off, a little bit. I didn't think Dillian White didn't really do anything in the 5 rounds he fought Fury. And he didn't knock Chisora down. He knocked Dillian White down.
Yeah, very durable.
And that was the knockout. So if you look at it like this, it just shows more that Dillian White is washed up too.
Yeah, I won't disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
That they're both washed up. Saludos everybody who's joined us in the room. Nando, Bella Bling, Tu Marador, Sontia Media, que pasa, homie? Long time. Appreciate everyone who's here. Sin City Syndicate, I just want to let you guys know that if you want to tap into the conversation, I've had some technical issues today. You guys can tap in by calling us at 702-710-3627. I'm not sure if Drew's camera went away or if he's stepped away from the microphone for just a moment. One thing that your boy Dave hates to do is the podcast alone. So hopefully I did not lose Drew. I think he just muted himself. Again, you guys could tap in at 702-710-3627. But what did you guys think, man? Was this Tyson Fury fight? He gets a phenomenal response every time he puts on an event in the UK. The guy can sell tickets like no other. You had a lot of celebrities, European celebrities, but most importantly, you had Usyk ringside. And you had the co-main event, which wasn't so bad, featured Dubois. And Dubois nearly got knocked out by an unknown South African fighter in round 1. It was crazy, only to come back and put the guy away in round 3. I thought that was a very entertaining fight. The reason why that's important is because Usyk is the fight everybody wants to see against Tyson Fury. Everybody wants to see that fight as soon as possible. Whatever's going to need to happen, if people are going to have to step aside. But there's some other great contenders in the heavyweight division, including the former world champions Deontay Wilder Andy Ruiz, and so on and so on. What do we want to see out of Tyson Fury, man? 510 is on the line, so I'm going to take this call while Drew hops back on, but let's talk to the 510. Yo, you're on the shoe sound.
Hey, what's up, Dave? Just checking. Hey, what's up, Dave? Just calling in to help you out a little bit, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, Nando. I'm not sure. ¿Dónde está Drew, man? But listen, we had 2 trilogies, and I think I just saw you.
Estás escondiendo, man. You don't want to hear the fire, man. You don't want to hear the truth.
We had 2 trilogies. One of them was like, to me, just a stay busy fight to keep Tyson Fury active for potentially what could be a great heavyweight showdown against Usyk in the spring. And then the other one was totally different, man. 2 great fighters that remind us of like Barrera and Morales. Throwback fights, guys that can throw 2,500 punches combined. And both Drew and I got it wrong, and, I get a lot of shit sometimes because it seems like we're nationalistic like soccer, where we only root for fighters from our country. This time I really gave it a lot of thought and thought Chocolatito was going to edge this one too, but it turned out to be a very close competitive fight. I don't know how you had it. I had it 7-5 for Estrada, but a lot of people would have been happy with the draw. How'd you have it?
I had Estrada edging it, maybe by 1 or 2 rounds. Chocolatito kind of like, as usual, gave away the first few rounds of the fight. And even when he did kind of turn on later on in the rounds, his punches didn't have a lot of snap on them. I didn't feel like he was hurting Estrada at all throughout the fight. So I think that was maybe the difference in the fight for me.
Yeah, most definitely. And so much talk right away after this fight is that these guys need to do it even again. Another time. 35 years old? No. Tell me why you think these fighters, and I'll remind the audience, man, Chocolatito's 35 years old. Now he's now lost 2 of the 3 fights, even though he's considered a first ballot Hall of Famer. And then you have Francisco Estrada, who's 32, with the opportunity to fight some of these new young, hungry fighters that were attending the fight. Why do you think they shouldn't fight for the 4th time?
There's other fights to be made out there for both guys. And let's be honest, dude, that fight was sort of entertaining, but there was never any danger throughout the fight. You got to have that in boxing, man. There's got to be some drama. And this fight lacked any kind of drama. It was a lot of precision, a lot of skill was showed, but I'm not really interested in a 4th fight. I don't think this last fight demands a 4th fight.
I have to agree with you there. First of all, Chocolatito started off really slow, which was kind of a shock to me that he started off slow. People say he starts off majority of the time slow, but I thought he started off way too slow, giving up way too many rounds. But it's interesting what you point out about not wanting to see a 4th round, because fights like Barrera and Morales, we seem to see more violence. These 2 guys, when they fight, despite throwing so many punches, it's not like it's a bloodbath.
Yeah, that is a difficulty.
And another thing, Nando, is where are the knockdowns, right? To merit a 4th fight. The knockdowns always make this intriguing, but guys coming off the floor, actually hurting each other. I agree with you that I don't need to see a 4th fight, because I think probably Estrada will edge it, being the younger fighter this time. Drew, we're talking about Chocolatito versus Estrada. The argument, people saying, hey, we should see this fight again for a 4th time. It's a lot of fun. It sells well. What do you think about that, Drew?
I just got done this technical difficulty on my end and everything, but no, I don't think there's a 4th fight. This shouldn't be a 4th fight. Like if you look at it, this fight was clearly won by Estrada. I had it 8-4, like 116, 112.
Mm-hmm.
Like you finally saw that Chocolatito started to look his age and everything. Like it's just he had a really slow start, and I really thought that the slow start went on for too long and everything, and I think he picked it up too late. Like in the second fight, I thought Chocolatito clearly won the fight. I don't see how people had it close. I don't see people had like Estrada winning the fight, but this fight was clearly an Estrada fight. But you still had people saying Chocolatito got robbed. Chocolatito clearly won the fight. And I look at him like, how can you see him winning the fight? He clearly didn't win this fight. And like if you look at early in the fight, he was way below his average of throwing punches in a round. Like I think Father Time's finally catching up to Chocolatito with all the battles that he's been in. And like when they're talking about him retiring, might hang him up. It might be time to hang him up. Like what else is there for you to accomplish? Like,
well, you know, it's that time where at 35 and you don't have any titles, Drew. It's time when they start trying to match you up against these young champions. Bam Rodriguez was in the audience with his brother Joshua Franco. Joshua Franco is going to fight Ioka in Japan for his title at 115. So you know that they want to make these fights. I was shocked, by the way, guys. I'm shocked that Bam Rodriguez said something like making the fight with Chocolatito would be incredibly difficult, even though they're with the same promotional company. But I want to ask both of you guys this serious question about trilogies. So the greatest fight was one of my favorite trilogies of all time is Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti. And by the third fight, even though their fights were far more violent, they had become really good friends. Is that, or do you guys think, I mean, they say these guys really have a lot of respect for each other. Is there just too much respect where nobody really wants to hurt the other guy at this point? Because I don't see the knockdowns. I don't see the blood. I don't see that burning desire to like hurt the other guy at this point in the trilogies. Do you think, Nando, that has something to do with it, that they just like each other too much?
I think with these trilogies, dude, like fights like what was I thinking of? Marquez Pacquiao.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like the exception to the rule, man. Typically, we have a fight like Morales Barrera 3, where it was kind of a technical fight, or you have Morales versus Pacquiao 3, where one guy's just too faded to even keep up with the other guy anymore, you know. And I think that's what we had, and also with Triple G versus Canelo, you know.
Right.
Same thing. Usually these trilogies peter out at the end, you know, typically, you know. So I think that's mostly the issue, man. Both guys are up there in age, and both guys don't have they're just older. I mean, it is what it is. It's a cash out fight. You know, you had that also with like number 4 with Marquez versus Rafa Marquez versus I forgot his name. I forgot his name, dude.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
right. Number 4 was like just disappointing, you know.
And
so it's fine. Like I said, dude, like you were saying earlier, Dave, it's a good idea for you guys to fight somebody else. You know, make some money and make some interesting fights. You know, with Bam or whoever.
Yeah. And Drew, your thoughts on that?
Like I never thought there should have been more than a first fight with Pacquiao and Marquez. I thought that was a waste and everything. Like, even though like people argue that Marquez probably won the first 2 of those fights and everything, but like I said before, like we can say that these guys respect each other too much to knock the other one down, but who the hell has really knocked down Chocolatito or hurt Chocolatito other than Rwanda side?
Yeah, that's the only guy who really hurt him in that knockout. And people, you had written off Chocolatito. I don't think he's going to retire from this fight, but it's time to see them move on. Sadly, though, sometimes when they put him in against young fighters, you know, it's not my ideal way to go out with such a wonderful and illustrious career. But Chocolatito's going to be the master of his own destiny to fight whoever he wants to fight. Could include somebody like, you know, Joshua Franco. Should Joshua Franco win? This December 31, New Year's Eve spectacular fight in Japan, hey, that's a great opponent, but Joshua Franco will probably want to fight the winner of that fight that we just saw. I think he's going to go to fight who we just saw Estrada win. So anyhow, those are the guys who were sitting there. It's funny. By the way, on that undercard, guys, I wanted to see how Julio Cesar Martinez, affectionately known as El Rey, you know, he walks in every time to Vicente Fernandez's music that I love so much. Nando, did you see the guy from Spain? Because I thought this guy, the Olympic fighter, I think his name was Carmona, came in southpaw, slick as hell, and looked great in the first few rounds. But ultimately, he broke his hand. And I was frustrated that Julio Cesar Martinez, the champion at 112, he kept his title at 112, could not cut off the ring and hurt the guy. Even though the guy, Carmona, was visibly hurt, and they said he broke his hand and went on to fight. Were you frustrated he couldn't get that guy out?
You know, I'm a huge fan, or at least I was a huge fan of JC Martinez. But it seems like his last 3 fights have been like a little more disappointing, one after the other. I think if you fight Sonny Edwards would just outbox him and give him a schooling. I think JC Martinez, for whatever reason, he's on the way down. You know, for whatever reason, I don't know what happened to him, but he hasn't been very impressive for his last 3 fights.
I agree with that. I just want to shout out to my boy Sonteo Media, who I can always trust his insight here. He says Bam might have said what he said about Chalk about a potential chalk fight because Mr. Honda of Tekken Promotions is against it, not because of anything else. It's hard to make because the Tekken president doesn't have interest in it, regardless of the public interest. So, you know what? I believe you, man. I don't think it's Bam Rodriguez that doesn't want to fight the best. He proved it this year in 2022, fighting these former champions like Drew just mentioned, Rungsevai. That destroying that guy must have given him all the confidence he needs to take on a 35-year-old version of Chocolatito. But why Tekken Promotions wouldn't want to see a super fight between these a young champion and a Hall of Famer and Chocolatito, I don't know. It's besides me, man. Sontel Media appropriately pointed out that there is a high interest from the public. I think that's for sure. Drew, do you think this guy, Julio Cesar Rey Martinez, do you think he's going to keep that strap at 112? You think he loses to somebody like Sonny Edwards or loses even to Bam Rodriguez, who's campaigning now at 112?
Sonny Edwards is going to give the dude a boxing lesson. I don't think I thought he got exposed. Bennett got exposed. He's not really as good as people think that he was. He's not. And I think if Sonny Edwards was to get a crack at him, I think Sonny Edwards wins a clear decision. I don't even think he wins 3 rounds off Sonny Edwards, if you look at it. But I think he's on the downward spiral. I think his best fights are done. Even though he's young as hell, he just got exposed, and he got exposed early.
All right, man. I'm going to move on from that. Before we move on from that, this is just fun for me, man, because, hey, I love Michaela Mayer and the Alicia Baumgartner drama. The drama continues. This is just kind of fun shit for me because we're going to see 2 women this weekend on DAZN. Everybody knows about Ebony Bridges. She's become famous for what she wears at weigh-ins, but she's got quite a rivalry with the domestic Australian opponent of her own. And this weekend, her title is on the line in the UK on the DAZN card versus Shannon O'Connell. But Alicia Baumgartner and Michaela Mayer continue to go at it. And at the DAZN fight, this was pretty funny to me. Michaela Mayer apparently brought her roses and what seems like a love note, but is absolutely not a love note. A box of chocolates or some shit, having fun with each other. These 2 girls continue to play games with each other. I think the note, Drew, said something about this is for you to get over your delusion that you won the belt. And they just keep going back and forth, guys. I still get a kick out of it. I think these 2 women are destined to fight each other again in a rematch. Drew, do you enjoy their shit talking? I mean, they still can't. Is it Michaela that can't get over the loss?
Michaela Mayer can't get over the loss. She's salty as hell. She can't accept the loss. She clearly lost the fight, and she needs to accept the loss. Like, how do you expect to win a fight with just jabbing? Seriously.
Listen, I like what she's doing to get a rematch. It's probably not going to happen right now because, hey, Alicia Baumgartner, she deserves to try to unify her titles, and Michaela will just have to wait and make big fights for herself. Anyways, Sinisa Estrada now moved over to Top Rank, and they're like buddies now. And it's great. It's great seeing those 2. And women selling fights, they got to do whatever they got to do to keep it interesting. They grab the men's attention. But we'll be talking about that Ebony Bridges fight because she's in for it this weekend, man. I think Shannon O'Connell from Australia has a really good chance, likewise, to take her title that she just got like 1 or 2 fights ago. So moving on to this weekend. Nando, you want to stay on the phone with us to preview these fights this weekend?
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
No, it's up to you. It's up to you, David. It's your show. But I'll say one thing, like with the ladies.
Yeah.
I like what Alicia and Michaela are doing with each other, going back and forth like that. Because, like you mentioned, Sinisa, that's what she's missing from her career. She's missing a rival. Somebody's going to get her skin. Somebody's going to give her a tough fight. And these 2 ladies, they have each other, and I think it's pretty good, man. It makes things more interesting.
Absolutely. Hey, if you guys haven't heard, I was going to break this shit later, man. If you guys haven't read Boxing Scene today, man, but the WWE, I was talking with Drew, Stephanie McMahon, she's got some executive role there. They've put out a statement in an interview today that they are making a serious bid in 2023 to buy a boxing promotional company. The only company I know that it could potentially be for sale is Oscar De La Hoya, who publicly said He's willing to sell his company for $1 billion. He tried to sell it this year. Got no offers that we know about, or maybe no offers he's willing to accept, or PBC. But listen, the WWE, they know how to market themselves, right, Drew? I mean, you still enjoy a good WWE card, right?
Yeah, like somewhat. Like, you know, Vince McMahon isn't even involved with WWE anymore. So, like, because that scandal that big scandal that got him out of there. But I don't believe that they would do business and buy a boxing company. Like, I think the only one that will be in favor of it is probably the new guy behind it, the new guy running WWE's Paul Triple H Levesque might be it, because he had connection with boxers. He even walked out to the ring with Floyd Mayweather during a fight years ago. So I wouldn't count on WWE getting into the boxing game. It's more like they might just stay doing wrestling and everything, because if you try to add more stuff to the plate, something's going to suffer. Even though WWE has gotten better now since Vince McMahon left, because of his booking is terrible, but I wouldn't make big deal out of the WWE trying to get involved with boxing and everything.
All right, guys. So there's
it's a little known. I'm sorry, Dave. It's a little known fact. I guess it's a little known fact that the WWE was in negotiations to buy the UFC a long time ago before the Faritas bought them, and they backed out. You know, that was like something that Shane McMahon was trying to get done, and his dad ended up backing out of. So they've always had some interest in combat sports, you know. And I think if they're going to buy a company, it'd be Top Rank, dude. They're the ones with all the prospects. They're the ones on ESPN. And I think, you know, I wouldn't be surprised, man. It would be a good thing for boxing, too, have somebody like the WWE involved, you know, get a little more, bring in some more fans.
Yeah, well, there's been a long history of connection. The McMahons actually were involved in professional boxing promotions, I believe in the 70s and 80s. You had Triple H with a very close relationship to Floyd Mayweather for many years. And I believe one of the executives at WWE was responsible for this mega deal with Top Rank and ESPN before he went over to the WWE. So that's absolutely something to keep our eyes on. I don't want to digress from all the juicy fights happening this weekend, but shit, for all we know, this could literally happen in 2023 if PBC or Golden Boy want to sell themselves, or hey, I mean, they could start their own shit, because this weekend we are going to see the premiere of BLK Prime with the return of Terrence Crawford, who left Top Rank. All the years of drama, all the years of Bob Arum saying, I can't make money off this guy, saying every time he fights, I lose money, Drew. And I happened to be at that last fight Terrence Crawford had with Bob Arum, the last one on his contract. He's a free man, $10 million guaranteed, Drew. David Avanesian. Does David Avanesian stand a freaking chance this weekend? And most importantly, will BLK Prime be able to put on a good card with very little experience, a pay-per-view card nonetheless, Drew? What do you think, man? What do you guys think about that?
I give David at least, I'm going to give him a 20% chance in this fight. Like, he's a top contender, but look at it like this. First of all, I like what BLK Prime's doing. They're not doing a $80 pay-per-view price. They're doing a $40 price, which, hey, I'm glad you're not going that $80 route like PBC and everything, but maybe we should have went down to $30. But I like what they're trying to do, trying to make it more affordable and everything, trying to make it attractive. But I really think Terrence Crawford stops Evanescence, I forgot how to say his name. In like
that was pretty close.
Like in like the 11th round, I think he gets the stoppage. It's a top 10 opponent. It's a top 10 welterweight, and he's gonna make money off this fight. Is it the fight we wanted? No, but you can't blame him for it. You gotta like he was the one that was able to get the best offer for both of them. $25 million each guaranteed for both Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford to fight BLK Prime. But what happened? Errol Spence said, I got to call out Heyman. He's like, I'm not going to let nobody touch this fight. And you know what? That just showed me Errol Spence ducked Terence Crawford because instead of being your own man, telling your manager, your promoter, do anything you can to make this fight, give him whatever he wants to make this fight, you chose to be the bitch and be the bitch boy.
Wow,
and go
shit.
hit up and say, I gotta hit up Al Heyman because he's my daddy. And I gotta fucking ask him about it. And here's the thing. Here's the fucked up thing. If you look at the past 5 fights of Errol Spence, all of those motherfuckers got a bigger cut. Will get a bigger percentage cut than Terence Crawford was gonna get in this undisputed fight. And so, and the lowest one out of that was 30%. So you're trying to tell me that you're gonna give Terence Crawford 25% of that purse, of that split? Seriously? And he's better than all those guys that those past guys? Possibly the biggest fight of Errol Spence's career. Biggest fight probably of Terence Crawford's career. The best fighter Errol Spence is probably ever gonna fight in his career. And you're gonna fucking give him that bullshit type of offer? Terence Crawford's probably was gonna make only $2 million in that undisputed fight. So you know what he did? He went to BLK Prime and said, hey, I wanna do some business for you, Terence. And everything. Let's try and make this undisputed fight, man. I'll give you $25 million. I'll give Errol Spence $25 million plus pay-per-view revenue. I don't give a fuck. And everything, because I know this pay-per-view is gonna sell. And you wanna know something? Errol Spence showed more and more why he ducked Terence Crawford and why Al Heyman was scared to make this fight and made an offer knowing Terence Crawford was not going to take this fight because he knows in his heart that Terence Crawford will beat the balls off Errol Spence. And he knows that because of the Ugas fight. Because Ugas hurt him a little bit. Ugas got a good couple of punches off on him. I'm not, this is just facts, man. And the people that try to say this is Terence Crawford's fault, I look at you guys like this and say, look in the fucking mirror, take an IQ test because you must be one stupid motherfucker at the end of the day.
Drew. Wow, Drew. Lot to dissect there. Nando, you're still on the phone here with us? Hang tight, Nando, because...
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, I was going to invite you to chime in on that.
Okay, well, I'll say this, dude. I don't blame Errol Spence at all. I blame Al Heyman. I think Al Heyman has a certain pay structure that he has going where he only pays them after all the pay-per-view receipts are in, and he gets to deduct some fees and whatever, then he pays his guys, right? And Bud Crawford wasn't going for that, and that's smart, right? But there's no way Al Heyman was going to change how he pays everybody just for Bud. He just wasn't going to do it, right or wrong, he wasn't going to do it. And here's another thing about Bud Crawford. I'm a fan of Bud Crawford, but he has struggled at times at welterweight. He struggled with the one-legged Jose Benavidez. He struggled with Kavaliauskas. He had a hard fight with Porter. He has not dominated at welterweight. He hasn't. He has not dominated. So I think it's a much more even fight that people are thinking. They're laying their politics of outside of the ring, cloud their judgment on that actual fight. I think Spence is a live dog, and some people might even favor him over Crawford. So I think it's a good fight. I still want to see it, but I don't blame Spence at all. I just think it's Al Heyman, and he just do things the way he wants to do them. That's just how it is.
Well, there's been a lot of drama this week, not just with Al Heyman, but of course Gervonta Tank Davis making the announcement officially he's leaving Floyd Mayweather. Drew, and before you chime in, Drew, I mean, this fight, the fight that Terence Crawford is having this weekend, it affects these young contenders, specifically the guy from your backyard in Philadelphia, not Errol, but Boots Ennis, that is going to have to, he's fighting some guy from the Ukraine because he can't lobby the sanctioning bodies to force Errol Spence to fight him. And that includes Virgil Ortiz, that I know Sonteo Media in here has had a lot of exposure around. So Virgil Ortiz, he's going to get a great fight out of this because these two welterweights champions won't fight each other. Virgil Ortiz fighting the better, I think he's getting the better one at PBC. The European champion who holds the minor belt. Do you guys know his name? For Stanionis.
Stanionis.
So he's fighting Stanionis, and unfortunately, Drew, for Boots, he's fighting a guy that's really, in my opinion, probably shouldn't even be ranked top 10. But this is all because these two world champions, Errol Spence and Bud Crawford, weren't able to make this fight happen in 2022. It may never happen in 2023 because I'm reading, Drew, that, you know, if Errol Spence gets past Thurman, that he might vacate the belt once they start ordering him to fight Errol, not only Boots Ennis, but a potential Virgil Ortiz. And then again, the Bud Crawford, you know, down his throat, man. He might just vacate and move up to 154. Something that the father of Boots Ennis today says, listen, I don't give a shit what weight class Errol is at. My son is going to fight him eventually. If he wants to move up to 154, my son will catch up to him eventually. And as much as I like Errol Spence too, Nando, I think the age is going to be a huge difference, make a big difference eventually if Boots Ennis catches up to him and gets the opportunity to fight him. And likewise for Bud Crawford at 35. I agree with you, Nando. You pointed something out that no one's talking about. David Avanesian is he's a European contender, well known, but he's never fought anyone as good as Bud Crawford that can do the things Bud Crawford does. But Bud Crawford is literally coming off a 1 year, 13-month layoff. So how could it be an easy fight this Saturday when you got ring rust? I know he stays ready, but shit, ring rust is ring rust.
Like, I'm gonna look at it like this. Like, the IBF should have ordered Errol Spence to fight Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis is technically the number 1 ranked fighter in the IBF and welterweight, and they had petitioned to have them order Errol Spence to fight him. And if they ever was to order him, we all know Errol Spence is moving up to 154. He wants no parts of Boots and everything. But Boots even said on the thing, if I had a choice, if I had my pick, instead of having other people pick my fights, I would want to fight Virgil Ortiz next. Boots Ennis even said he wanted to fight Virgil Ortiz next. But no, they picked somebody else for him because they don't want to do business with Golden Boy Showtime. Like, I don't know how to get this Tank Ryan Garcia bullshit's going to happen because I don't think that's going to happen either. Like, the thing about it is, Boots Ennis said during an interview, if I had my choice of who I was fighting next, I'll be fighting Virgil Ortiz. Because, tell you the truth,
I'm calling bullshit on that, Drew.
That ain't bullshit.
Why is Boots fighting a Karen instead of Speedy Ellis, who's going to be on the same card? Why has Boots fought nobody? He's been around forever. He's been hyping him up since day one, and he still hasn't fought anybody. Nobody. A Karen, dude. What about Speedy Ellis? He's on the same card. Speedy Ellis is on the same card. Why is he not fighting him? Everybody's putting out pills for Boots Ennis, but he ain't done shit.
Yes,
you know, everybody's like, oh, he deserves to be no 1 contender. But for who? Who's he beat? Oh, man, I'm tired of people pointing fingers, man, making excuses, dude.
You can't blame dude if nobody wants to fight him. He's on the PB. He's on Showtime. Same network as the PBC. I even don't want to match one of his top fighters against him. He want to keep throwing.
Hey, you don't mind blaming You don't mind blaming Ryan. You don't mind blaming Virgil. You don't mind blaming anybody else, though, do you? You know, you're real quick to point fingers at other fighters, but Boots, you're putting him up on a pedestal? Boots is up on a pedestal?
I blame Oscar De La Hoya, and even Oscar De La Hoya admitted from Triddle when Jose Zepeda, when Shakur Stevenson was like, "Hey, I'll send you the contract." Oscar said on Triddle, and even though he's in the protection program, he's like this. Oh, he needs more exposure to be able to face Shakur Stevenson. Don't give me that fucking bullshit. He's a fucking top 135-pound fighter. That'll be a good fucking fight for Shakur Stevenson. And that's a good fight for Jose Zepeda. But no, he wants to put his fighters in the fucking protection program. And then the fucked up thing is, man, Virgil Ortiz should be fighting more fighters. I'm glad he's fighting Staniotis.
He fought Kavalauskas. Drew. When has Boots ever fighting anybody like Kavalauskas? Never. And here's another thing, too. You might hate Munguia, but he has a better resume than Boots. You might hate Ryan, but he has a better resume than Boots. That's shameful shit right there.
But here's the thing. When you're on the same platform as those PBC guys, and when he's trying to get PBC guys to fight him, Al Heyman won't feed him to me because he's not signed to Al Heyman. So you cannot fucking blame Boots Ennis for that shit. Nobody in the welterweight division.
You blame everybody else, though. You're real quick to blame everybody else, Drew. You're real quick. You're real quick with the blame though, for everybody else.
To blame people. Like you allowed to blame people. Don't think that.
I don't blame anybody. I'm sticking up for people. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm sticking up for people.
Sticking up for people, but here's the thing. He was 40-0. He's a fucking champion. He was a champion at 154. He should have been fucking fighting people. He should have been fighting the Triple G's. He should be fighting the Janabeks. He should have been fighting Andres. But you wonder what happened? He fucking refused to fight Janabek. He refused to fight fucking Andre. Come on now. He fucking like the best guy in his fucking
And he still has a better resume than Boots. And he still has a better resume than Boots after all that. That's some shameful shit right there.
The best guy he fought, his resume at 40-0 was a fucking guy with 14 fucking losses. That's the best fucking guy. He arguably lost.
Hey, Toriano Johnson's better than anybody that Boots has fought. So is Gabriel Rosado. Any of those guys are better than anybody Boots has fought. Boots is fighting some guy named Karen next on pay-per-view. That's shameful, dude. That's embarrassing. Rashidi Ellis is on the same card with him. He's not fighting Rashidi Ellis. I don't care who you want to blame Al, blame whoever, but you got one finger pointing back at yourself.
It's an embarrassment when you're 40-0 and you've been a world champion already and you're still fighting taxi fucking drivers.
Hey, how old is Boots? How old is Boots right now? He's about the same age as McGee, isn't he? So when are you going to run out of excuses for him when he's 30?
All right, that's the bell, guys. That was pretty good. I got to admit, I don't know how we got. Anytime Boots Ennis comes up, people get riled up. Because we're talking about Crawford Avanesian. But yeah, man, this fight Saturday, there's a lot of ramifications for what goes on in the future in 2023. People are very heated about Boots' quality of opposition. You mentioned he's fighting a Karen. He's literally fighting a man named Karen. That's true. And Rashidi Ellis is a guy that I think Oscar De La Hoya fumbled the bag on that one. This guy could be ranked much, much higher. And I don't know. It seems the sanctioning bodies are the ones that ordered Ennis to fight the man named Karen. And what's he going to do? Turn the fight down?
But Dave, you know why they fucking fumbled the ball with Rashidi Ellis? Because they try to match him up with the other guy that they're trying to make a star, Alexis Rocha, and he beat Alexis Rocha. And Oscar couldn't take it that he beat Alexis Rocha. So what do you want to do? You fucking make him inactive, and that's why he went to the PBC. All right. Come on now.
All right.
He's been inactive at the PBC too. He's been inactive over there also. Give me a break.
All right. What are the official judges? The official judge, Santiago Media says.
No, he fucking, ever since he beat Alexis Rocha, Golden Boy didn't want to do shit with him.
All right,
you use a guy that beat one of your stars that you were trying to make.
Y'all gonna need
He's
a
been with
rematch.
PBC over a year now. What's the excuses at the PBC, Drew? Where's the excuses over there? He's been with them over a year.
Come on now, man. Come on now.
I'm waiting. Where you got plenty of excuses. Spit out another one, Drew. You got so many excuses. I want to hear another one.
Come on now. Don't give me that bullshit. Speaking of excuses, man.
He's been with the PBC over a year. That ain't bullshit. And he hasn't fought nobody. I think he's had one fight in the past year. So come on, Drew. I'm telling you the fact. You ain't telling me nothing.
If he was still being inactive, he would have been a Golden Boy.
Shit, you guys have so much fire going on right now. We might as well do round two. Let's just move on to Teofimo Lopez then. Yeah, this one always gets people fired up. Teofimo Lopez makes his return on Heisman weekend this weekend in New York with a star-studded who's who of prospects with Xander Zayas. Of course, you got Keyshawn Davis on the card too. Teofimo Lopez is going to be fighting Sandor Martin, who came out of nowhere from Spain. The slick southpaw upset Mikey Garcia, a former multi-divisional champion of Mikey Garcia. Guys, this was not his original opponent, and there is no one more that Regis Prograis wants to fight, and he's made it very vocal this weekend. This whole week, Regis Prograis even came out and said, I'm going to put you in the fucking hospital. And a lot of interviews were done this week. Teofimo Lopez, while he should be worried about fighting Sandor Martin, they keep asking him about Regis Prograis, who just won his title back, about the prospects of that. But guys, he's got a hard test in front of him, man. This Sandor Martin, he looked like he's slick enough, smart enough, and has enough ring IQ to not only avoid the heavy fire that Teofimo Lopez might bring, but maybe just kind of like dance the rest of the night should he get hurt. How is this fight going to go down, guys? Is Sandor Martin slick enough to confuse Teofimo Lopez this weekend? Give him all 12 rounds. Drew, I'll start with Drew, and then I'll go with Nando, man. Because Drew's always gets passionate about Teofimo Lopez. Drew, what's going to happen this Saturday in this main event?
Here's the thing. He hasn't been focused since he beat Lomachenko. That's plain simple. This isn't the same Teofimo that beat Lomachenko. This isn't. He isn't as motivated as he once was. He has a lot on his fucking plate. He's not over that loss to Kambosos. He still thinks he beat Kambosos. And he's really concentrating on Reeves' progress instead of the guy in front of him, Sandor Martin. A guy that's coming off possibly the biggest win of his career, and say, oh, he beat a guy that he wasn't supposed to beat, Mikey Garcia, even though that wasn't the best Mikey Garcia, but he still beat Mikey Garcia. That's a name on his resume and everything. He's going to be known for that unless he beats Teofimo and say, hey, he beat Mikey, then he beat Teofimo. But I'm picking the upset. I really think Sandor Martin is going to beat Teofimo. And if this isn't the wake-up call that Teofimo needs, then his career is going to go to the shits. Because, like I said before, after the Kambosos fight, he should have dumped his father. He should not let his father in his affairs anymore, because I think his father's going to really kill his career. His father is killing his career. And it's a shame, because I think his father is trying to get the limelight over him, the spotlight over him. And like me and fucking Beeb agreed the same thing. I don't think Teofimo is ever going to be a champion again unless it's for a vacated title. And I just don't see it. Like, I don't see the motivation. I don't see the fire since the Lomachenko fight. I don't see it. And I think he's going to lose an upset loss and everything. I might even put some money on this fight because this could be an upset fight.
Let me give Nando, our caller, an opportunity to chime in. But before then, I want to give a shout out to my boy Boxing Vitals from the Fresno area, who might have been at that fight against Mikey Garcia. He says Sandor Martin can give Teofimo problems because Sandor can box. Now, Nando, we all saw what he did against Mikey Garcia, a fighter who had been semi-retired, who came in bloated like usual, a lot of ring rust. Yes, he can box, but is it enough to pull off an upset or just enough to stink up the joint?
Hey, I was at that fight in Fresno too, man. I was at Mikey's retirement fight, but I'm actually excited for the Sandor fight more than I was for the Pedraza fight. Pedraza's kind of been like middle of the road the last few years, you know. So he hasn't been dangerous, you know. I think Sandor is a lot more dangerous than Pedraza. He fights on the back foot. He's tricky, you know. He's going to give Teofimo a hard time. I think the most telling part of this fight coming up this weekend is going to be the first couple rounds. If Teofimo comes out too over aggressive, that's bad for him. You know, he needs to come out patient, take his time, break down Sandor, and knock him out by the 10th round. But if he comes out like he did with Kambosos and that fight where he came out hot and heavy, it might be time for him to rethink his corner, like Drew was saying. You know, maybe look at his dad, maybe make a change there. But I really don't have a problem with his dad, because his dad's the one that came up with the blueprint to beat Loma, right? His dad was the one that came up with the game plan that was positive he was going to beat Loma, and they did it. You know, so I'm not ready to throw Teofimo Sr. overboard quite yet.
What do you need to see out of Teofimo Lopez to give him higher stock in the 140-pound weight division? One of the most, to me, is going to be one of the most exciting divisions in 2023. What do you need to see from Teofimo?
Make sure Dad will show up drunk.
Nando, you still there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to Drew. What do I need from Teofimo? I just need to see patience. You know, that's what I want to see from Teofimo. I want to see him going there like a shark. Yeah, you know, take his time, you know, like he did with Loma, right? He took his time, he was patient, you know, and that's how he won that fight. If he comes out like he did, like I said, against Kambosos, where he came out hot and heavy, he might get caught with a sneaky punch, or he might just tire himself out, you know? Like, he needs to be patient. I mean, Sandor is a tough, tricky fighter, but he can be beaten. He's not a world beater, you know? This is like the perfect measuring stick for Teofimo, see where he's at right now in his head and in his career.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'm much more excited about this because Sandor Martin has such a recent upset win. It was one of the biggest and best upsets of the prior year, in my opinion. So as a measuring stick, it's going to be far better. Chauncey Pearl says, if Teo can't show out in this fight, what makes us think he can beat the likes of Regis, Taylor, Haney, etc.? But Drew, why is Regis so focused on Teofimo? I mean, it's almost like he's giving Teofimo credit as being one of the most popular or well-known names in the division. He's not yet calling out someone like Ryan Garcia, maybe because Ryan Garcia is supposedly going to fight Tank Davis, which I don't I don't think it's going to happen, but he's not calling those guys out, man. He's calling out Teofimo Lopez. Why?
Because that's the more reasonable fight to make. That's going to be the easier fight to make. Like, if we look at it, Ryan Garcia is concentrated on getting a Tank Davis fight, which is wishful thinking. It's not going to happen. Like, even if they say, oh, the fight happens, like I said, a month before that fight happens, Worm's going to plot with a so-called injury, and then they're not going to go back to the table. Like, Oscar is not going to give 100% of network control to the PBC, the Showtime. It's not going to happen. They're going to have, he wants the zone to be involved, and Showtime's not going to do that. It's not going to happen. And somebody needs to tell Ryan, Ryan, you're not going to fight this.
That was already negotiated, though. That was already negotiated by the zone. They get the rematch.
It doesn't. If you sure there's going to be a rematch if the fight happens? I doubt it. I think they're going to have the fight. Whoever wins. And Tank's people ain't going to want that rematch. And Showtime ain't going to want that shit. That shit ain't going to happen. That fight's not going to happen. Hopeful. I think people need to stop saying it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. People need to go that's following Ryan's career and say, yo, why are you worried about fighting a guy that's not even in your weight class anymore? Your thing is, you need to go get belts. You need to work on your legacy and everything, man. That fight, that's not happening, man. You got
who's available for my 140, Drew? Who's available for my 140 right now? I mean, give me some names. Who's available for Ryan at 140 right now?
There's vacated belts. You can fight Regis Prograis because he's technically with Pro Bono, but you can easily make a fight with him. You should be able to work easy with Bob Elm, to fucking make a Teofimo fight or a Josh Taylor fight. Like, seriously, you need to start thinking about belts.
The Josh Taylor fight's probably easier to make. You're right, Drew, because of he's not contractually tied to somebody like Top Rank and whatnot. It's possibility. I want to respond to Boxing Vitals. Regis needs to focus on his mandatory Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez actually passed on this opportunity because he was getting married. Shout out to Jose Ramirez. And another one of Rick Mariagon's fighters. Guys, I think this Saturday we're going to see Teofimo Lopez overcome Sandro Martin. I don't think he knocks out Sandro Martin. I think Sandro Martin is he's got a really good ring IQ. He's going to eventually just do what he needs to do to survive the 12 rounds if he gets hurt or when he gets hurt in the later rounds. If Teofimo can be patient, like Nando suggests, if he can mature in the ring and work his game plan and listen to his corner, providing his corners give him good advice, he should come out victorious in this. And if he can't, well, shit. I don't know what future he has in the 140-pound division. But if and when he gets past Sandor Martin, a shout out to Rick Mariagan from Fresno, one of the better managers in the business. I say he needs to fight Arnold Barboza Jr. That was kind enough to be on the shoe shine when Lukey came on. Arnold Barboza Jr., not only a comedy promoter, but I think one of the top 5 contenders in the 140-pound division. Teo needs to fight the next level. Before he gets a title shot, he's got to show me he can beat someone in the top 5 at 140 pounds. Because this dude, Sandor Martin is on the fringe of being a top 10 140-pound fighter.
Like, look at it like this. If Teofimo loses his fight, he's got to get rid of his dad. And he's got to go to a trainer that's going to tell him how it is. That's going to be serious with him. And try to get his career back on track. Because with a second loss like this to a guy you should beat, you're probably in the crossroads of it. Of one more loss, people are going to question you even more. And everything. Like, this is a fight he should win. But if he does not win, and as his dad keeps saying in the corner, oh, you got to go fuck this dude up, man. You got to fuck this dude up. And everything. Probably have another drink a little bit in the corner while he's talking. You need to fuck this motherfucker up. And Teofimo gets too anxious, like he did in the Cambosis fight. I think Sandor Martin is a better fighter than Cambosis. I really think so. And I think he's a guy that will make a miss, use his frustrations out on him, his anxiousness, and start landing some combinations and make him look horrible and everything. That I really think this could be a fight that can really make Teofimo look bad if he comes out the wrong way and make it look worse than the Kambosos fight, even though he got knocked down in the first round. But I really think this fight has a potential of making him look worse than the Kambosos
We're going to find
fight.
out this Saturday. By the way, that was a very good impression Drew did. I like how you got gravelly right there, man. I don't know if that's an East Coast thing or not. We will find out. On Monday, we'll come back to trying to be on our regular schedule on the Shoe Shine and find out how Teofimo does. A big test for him, a better test, as Nando pointed out, I think. And we're going to find out where he stands in the 140-pound division a little bit better, a little bit more clearer picture. Regis wants to fight him, so it's up to Teofimo to put on a performance. Shit, maybe he'll avoid fighting someone like Arnold Barboza Jr. and go straight to the world title holder.
If I gotta do the Teofimo dad pulpit, I gotta be like, you gotta fuck him up, man. You gotta fuck him up. Well, you guys gotta go in there, fuck him up.
All right, man.
Hey, that basic still worked against Loma, though, huh?
Ooh. Oh, shit.
Hey, but the thing about it is, man, that was a closer fight than everybody thought it was, and he almost knocked Teofimo out in that fight.
Yeah,
So
we'll pick up on this one
Thunder
next
State,
week.
man.
All right, guys, the
Hey,
last
thank you for
fight.
taking my phone call, guys.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you.
Thank you for taking my phone call. I appreciate it.
I appreciate
All right,
you, Nando.
have
Nando,
a cook and on Teofimo's dad.
man, it's been a fun show so far. Like I said, there's 3 great fights that I'm looking forward to this weekend. The other one, of course, Luis Alberto El Venado Lopez. Why I've been such a big fan of El Venado Lopez, Drew, because he beat 2 of the top Bay Area fighters, Northern California fighters. A good friend of the show, Andy El Tiburon Vences from San Jose, California, in a very, very close fight. I heard I was on another channel earlier this week. They're saying, they thought that Andy Vences had edged it out. Andy Vences got hurt really bad in the 6th round and came back and rallied to potentially maybe make a draw. I'm sure if we asked Andy, he thought he did enough to win it. But after that performance, for some reason, Top Rank threw one of their hottest prospects that they thought it was one of their hottest prospects, and Gabe Flores from Stockton, who got annihilated at 130 pounds against Alberto El Venado Lopez, Drew. It was an annihilation. It was such a bad beatdown that we thought perhaps Gabe Flores could end up hospitalized as it was going on. And his dad, unfortunately, didn't stop the fight or throw in the towel. The warrior mentality in that family. But those 2 huge fights on Top Rank, and then followed by some other smaller ones, somehow he goes from 130 to getting ranked at featherweight, Drew, and he's got enough power to hurt you. Now he's back down on 126, earns this title fight this weekend in the UK against Warrington. Warrington has got some losses, Drew, and I think that Luis Alberto Lopez, El Venado, is going to drag him into the type of fight. Now, he's very, very unconventional. He's almost Pacquiao-like, the way he can jump in and create angles and hit you. And he hits hard, Drew. That's the thing. Can Warrington be composed, focused, like other people were saying about Teal, not to be reckless? Or is he going to get dragged into this, all-out phone booth brawl? And to be honest, man, I think El Venado Lopez can fight in and outside. He could hit you from the outside, leaping in. He can do a lot of special things. He's going to get an opportunity in the UK, but is he going to be forced to knock out Warrington, a very durable world champion? Or can he actually get a decision win in the guy's backyard? I don't think so, Drew, man. I'm actually concerned for El Venado Lopez. I think in the eyes of the general public out here, maybe even the UK fans, I think he's going to beat Warrington this weekend. But will it be by decision? It's going to be very difficult, man. He's got to go in there and not leave it in the judge's hands, because we know how things go when you go into someone else's home turf. It's going to be a great fight, a great card. It also has Ebony Bridges defending her title in a very dangerous fight against Shannon O'Connell. But I'm going to let you tell me, Drew, you've watched Warrington before at the featherweight division. Does he have enough to hold off this contender in El Venado Lopez?
Well, first of all, talking about pillow fisted with Gabe Flores. I mean, that's pillow fisted right there. But now, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to pick Warrington to win this fight, because I don't think Lopez is going to be able to knock out Warrington. And I don't think he's going to get a decision in the UK. I just don't see it happening and everything. Like unfortunately, I just don't see it. I'm picking Warrington by decision. It's gonna be competitive it's gonna be a competitive fight. But I'm seeing more like an 8-4 type, 8-4 type of fight. But Ebony Bridges, man, I'm gonna be at this. She's hot as fuck. I hit it a couple good times. I know. I'm sorry, ladies that are watching this. I'm really sorry, ladies. Like there are a lot of beautiful women in the chat right now. Hit me up on my Instagram. We'll talk about it and everything. I'm not saying I will wife Ebony. I probably wouldn't because she talks too goddamn much, probably.
Oh my god.
But Ebony Bridges is not that good of a fighter. I'm sorry, she's not. Like, if you look at it, all she's doing is throwing punches. She has no head movement and everything. She has no defense. She's gonna get hit. If you want to compare her to a fighter, Ruslan Prokhorov. That's who I compare her to.
That's the throwback name.
That motherfucker gets hit when he punches. That's what Ebony Bridges is. She's hot. She can fight, but she gets hit too much. And like I'll be honest with you, I think Shannon O'Connor is gonna beat her. I think she's gonna unbox her. Ladies, I'm sorry again for the way I'm talking. I need to get a bar of soap to wash my mouth out. I know, and everything, but it's the first thing that came to my fucking mind, and it wouldn't be Drew Philly Irish if I did say the first thing that came to my fucking mind on here.
All right, no filter, unfiltered Drew EVo, saying what probably a lot of our male audience is thinking, that JC says something. Drew has a chubby for sure. Who else said something? They said Drew he needs a shovel. He's burying himself.
JC even said that she was a punching bag. I had it all day.
Well,
so JC we had all day. Good luck with that, JC.
We know that
I hope you don't have a.
We know that Ebony Bridges can take a beating. She took a beating that was so bad that she had a very serious hemoglobin. I forget what she called that. Hematophin, the one where your eyes, the blood just swells up. She's taken a beat down before. We'll see if Shannon O'Connell has enough. I think she's going to surprise everybody, Shannon O'Connell, and potentially get the big upset. Ebony Bridges is the product of a very fine marketing machine. She, including herself, she knows it. She sells her sexy image. There will be countless of people waiting to see this weigh-in between these two Australian fighters on Friday because they've made it a spectacle, And when it comes time Saturday, we're going to see if she's worthy of retaining the title she's just recently won.
I can't call that an upset if she beats Ebony Bridges, because I can't call it an upset because look who the fuck she beat for the belt. She beat someone that was like 9-5 and everything. I just don't call it an upset. I think that Ebony Bridges is just going to be known as somebody that at the weigh-ins that's going to wear that nice ass lingerie at the weigh-ins, and everybody's just going to look, and Eddie Hearn's going to be like this, try not to look like this. And everything, but at the end of the day, I think like O'Connell's a talented fighter and everything. I think she has the skills to give anger. I'll give you a true assessment. Shadow O'Connell has the ability to give a lot of angles and move around that's going to cause confusion for Ebony Bridges, and she's going to get hit a lot, and she might not land that many punches on O'Connell. If O'Connell wants to make this into a boxing match, but if this goes into a fight, I still would favor O'Connell because she can still bang.
Nopal says, what's your lingerie prediction, Drew?
Blue. Baby blue.
Bella Blink says, but what about Bumgarner, Drew? What about Bumgarner?
Oh, you know what? Drew loves Alicia, but oh my God, like damn.
Yeah, you know what? It might have just been Drew who sent these flowers. Once again, Alicia showing off these roses. It might have just been Drew who sent those flowers this whole time this past weekend, man. Well, hey, I'd like to know what you guys think about this fight. El Venado Lopez, El Venado Lopez Warrington on DAZN in the middle of the day. I love watching DAZN in the middle of the day because I get a lot of the shit I have to do. I get it done while watching the DAZN fights around the house. You know, the husbandly duties you got to do around the house on Saturday. I like to watch them, Drew. And it's important to me to see El Venado Lopez win because he has beat two really close friends of the show. Actually, Andy Ventas. If you guys don't know, Andy Ventas, who's been on our show numerous times from San Jose El Tiburon, has his own YouTube channel now. He's kind of, he will be fighting again one more time, but he has his own YouTube channel where he's showing people really the inside game, his knowledge of boxing, and it's a great channel. He's probably going to be, like Lukey Boxing pointed out, a fantastic trainer in the sport of boxing to go on and train other potential world champions or whatnot. He's already training some people here in the Bay Area. Go make sure you follow Andy Vences on YouTube. He beat Andy Vences, like I said, in a close fight. He beat the crap out of Gabe Flores, but he did not do shit to Ruben Villa. Ruben Villa at 126 pound, who had the opportunity to fight Navarrete on Top Rank during the bubble. He did not win against Navarrete. Nobody has at 126. He's still the world champion at 126. I believe he's going to be moving up to 130. He did not beat Ruben Villa from Salinas, Drew. It's important for me to see El Venado Lopez win this title on Saturday because I think that would be a fantastic rematch between Ruben Villa and El Venado Lopez because nobody saw that fight on ShowBox 5 years ago. Yeah, it's one of those things, man. Two potential world champions, El Venado Lopez. These guys have already fought on ShowBox. If El Venado Lopez picks up this title, man, what I wouldn't do to see my backyard guys from Salinas, Ruben Villa, get another crack at that featherweight title. So I am rooting. I'm all in for El Venado Lopez this Saturday. I don't favor Ebony Bridges to retain her title, and it'll be a new era in that division. For Shannon O'Connell, she'll take over the division, in my opinion. We'll see. Terrence Bud Crawford, he's definitely going to get a knockout stoppage win. And those are my predictions for the show. Drew, I'm going to let you take this over as we wrap up the show.
Well, Sarah, I'm glad midnight blue's your favorite color and everything. I don't like. Here's the thing, man. When like people's strategy how to get popular in boxing can be funny, like Ebony Bridges. Oh look, go figure, and everything. I'm not saying she can't fight. She's not that good of a boxer. Just saying that. So I know people are going to say I'm hating on her, but everything. Hey, I follow her on fucking Instagram. I mean, because to look at her, but what the fuck ever about that? But at the end of the day, people don't really care about her boxing. They care about her look and everything. And I'm being honest, and it's not a knock at her. She's hot as shit. She knows she's hot as shit. But like my picks are my picks, and the thing about it is when I picked the upset Sandor Martin versus Teofimo, I actually looked at a lot of things, and the thing about it is, man, when you got a guy in your fucking corner with a Coke and rum with sunglasses, like you better fuck that motherfucker up or else you ain't coming home with me, and everything about that and everything. That's not motivation, man. That's being annoying to me. That'd be annoying as fuck, man. I'd be like this, dude, get the fuck out my fucking corner, man, if I fucking backhand the shit out of you. But like, it's like people are really banking on fights that are wishful thinking, like Tank versus Ryan. Especially thinking that shit's not happening. And if you think that shit's gonna happen, man, you must have had a lot of Coke and rum, and you must need to put me onto that shit because I need to fucking start wishful thinking myself too. Because I'll tell you the truth right now, man, these two don't care about legacy. They don't. Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis are at the point of their careers. Takes won belts, a couple of seconds. He's won one main belt. What the fuck Ryan's won? You know? Like, seriously. You're at that point and you will fucking go up to the thing. You beat Luke Campbell. You beat Javier Fortuna. You're fighting JoJo Diaz next. I knew they were going to have Golden Boy was going to have JoJo Diaz move up to 140 and fight you and everything. But at the end, you're not thinking about legacy. Why are we in an era where fighters do not think about legacy? When we were back in the day, when we talked about the Bernard Hopkins, the Joe Calzaghes, the Roy Jones Jr., the Felix Trinidads, the Oscar De La Hoyas, fucking Diego Corrales, R.I.P. Diego Corrales, Plenty Boy Floyd Mayweather, not Money Floyd Mayweather, because Money Floyd Mayweather started the whole fucking bullshit at the end of the fucking day. Where the best fought the best. Ricky White too. Forgot to add Ricky White to that. But why are we fucking keep having to wish for fights to happen? But we should get fights to happen. Because back in the day, fights were easy to happen. They were real easy. It doesn't matter what network you were on, what promotional company you was. The best always fought the best. And that was why I grew up in that era of boxing. Now I love that era of boxing because you always had the best fighting the best. The big name versus the big name. You had fucking Bernard Hopkins in his late 40s, early 50s, fighting fucking guys in their fucking prime. Bad Chad Dawson, fucking Pascal Trice, fucking Tavares Cloud, like all these fucking names. Kelly Pavlik and everything. Sergio Martinez, another fucking name. Why can we not have that type of era that we have back there in the early 2000s, in the late 90s? Because people care about their Instagram following, people care about their Twitter followers, people care about all that fucking bullshit, and they're not making as much money as these fucking guys back in the day. Why? Because you're not fighting the best. You're not fighting the big names. You're fighting a bunch of fucking nobodies and everything. And the thing about it is, I can't blame all those guys for not fighting nobody when guys don't get fed them and everything. And we're getting bullshit fights like fucking Keith. Last time Thurman versus Errol Spence. The last time Keith Thurman's been one time when he first won the WBA welterweight title, when he had some fucking motivation in his system, and the motherfucker doesn't have it no more. He lost that motivation. You saw it in the fucking Luis Colasso fight. You saw it in the Manny Pacquiao fight and everything. At the end of the fucking day, people need to stop with the bullshit, because when you have 40 fucking fights and you had opportunities, you even became mandatories, you even was a champion in a fucking division, had a main title, and you refused to try to win a championship in the other weight classes when you are a mandatory challenger. I'm sorry. You went to fight Spike O'Sullivan, Dave Rosado, a fucking nobody that's fucking 21-5, that's fucking not even in the top 15 ranked and everything. It's a fucking disgrace. And fucking David Benavidez. Wow, he's finally fighting somebody. He's finally fighting Caleb Plant. He's finally fighting somebody after so long, and then trying to say he's the boogeyman of 168 when he fought leftovers. But here's the thing. You can say that Caleb Plant knocked out David Benavidez leftovers, but David Benavidez couldn't stop Anthony Durrell. Caleb Plant did. And Caleb Plant's the guy that has less knockouts. That's not known for knocking motherfuckers out and everything. So now we got this fight, and I think it's going to be a good fight. David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. I think Caleb Plant beats David Benavidez. We're finally going to fucking see what David Benavidez is somewhat made of. Because now he's going to get that chance to show something. If he has a chance to actually get a Canelo fight. Because now, if he beats Caleb Plant, he'll get that Canelo fight. He ain't going to beat Canelo. I said it on record. David Benavidez will beat Canelo Alvarez's easiest fight. Even right now, I think Canelo Alvarez easily beats David Benavidez because David Benavidez does not fucking have an inside fucking game. And it's the problem where he's a guy that fights tall all the time. He's a guy that does not have one-punch knockout power. All his knockouts or multiple punches, he does not have the one-punch knockout power. Like seriously, the best guy he's fight on his resume is Anthony Durrell until he fights Caleb Plant. Other than that, man, like really, fights gotta get made. This guy should have been fighting motherfuckers already. If you wanted the Canelo Alvarez fight so bad, why couldn't you fight Callum Smith? Why couldn't you fight Billy Joe Sanders? Why couldn't you go and fight a Callum Smith? Seriously, Callum Smith and David Benavidez will be an awesome fight. Seriously, Callum Smith, he'll be the. David Benavidez has never fought someone bigger than him. Callum Smith 6'3", David Benavidez 6'1". It would be an awesome fight. I actually would edge Callum Smith to beat David Benavidez. I actually would pick Callum Smith to beat Benavidez and everything. But I look at it like this. If we got all this bullshit in this age, boxing is heading into a scourge. Oh man, I forgot to say that. I can't say that word. I'm thinking, fuck it, I'm gonna make another word up. Boxing is going to head into a dark zone. I said this sport is not dead. It's on life support, and it will continue being on life support until the best fight the best. And it's on a consistent fucking basis. We only get the best and the best when probably in the heavyweight. That's what we got a shot in. Or fucking cruiserweight. Because to tell you the truth, Usyk fought AJ twice. We see three fights of Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. Well, we saw King Kong Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz. We saw Fury versus Wright, even though I think it was an absolute mismatch. We're probably going to see Fury versus Usyk undisputed. We saw Joseph Parker versus George Joyce. We may see a potential Joyce versus Fury fight. Like there are a lot of fights in the heavyweight division. And people don't think it's a stacked division. That's a stacked division. You got a good amount of fighters that you can make a lot of fights from. And you have more of a chance to make those fights. And everything. And people are saying the heavyweight division is dead. How, when you can make all these fucking fights, it's a stacked fucking division. And it's a shame that the fucking cruiserweights don't get that much exposure in the United States because mostly Eastern Europeans and African hold the cruiserweight belts and everything. But it should. Because the best in that division fights the best in that division. Like Brutus fought fucking Usyk. Like I just don't get how bad this sport has become. And I'll tell you the truth, this is a sport I love and hate at the same fucking time.
Preach.
And it gives you a lot of shit.
Preach. The
and it
love-hate
gives
relationship.
And Bridgerweight. They added fucking division. Bridgerweight. Is the WBC giving that fucking kid any fucking money for that fucking out of sanctioning fees for that belt? Fuck no. That's a fucking disservice. Oh, we're gonna name it after him. Are you giving him any fucking money? No, you're not. And that's the one thing that pisses me off about the WBC about that. If you make a division. Are you paying him the fucking money? Are you giving him any of that fucking sanction body fee? No. And that's why I said 100% shit like that got to stop. And I think sanctioning bodies got to stop with the bullshit. If you're going to force the motherfuckers to fight, force them to fight. If you have a ranking system for a reason to earn title shots, when somebody is ranked number 1, if they do not take that mandatory shot, you move them the fuck back down the list. Hyman here should be back down the fucking list. He rejected 3 fucking title opportunities to WBO. And you keep him in the top 5, you keep him in the top 3? Bunch of bullshit about that. And then fucking IBF's not ordering fucking... no, here's another thing. Let's get on with this. How the fuck is Keith Thurman number 1 to WBC? How the fuck is that? And he only fought twice in the last 5 fucking years. Like, seriously. He fought a Mario Barrios that just moved up to 147. Like, seriously. That's my final take for the day, man. I'm fucking done. I can't think of no more to say. It's a bunch of bullshit.
I was just about to comment. Listen, you know Drew's cooking when I've played my porn funk exit music 6 times in a row on loop. There's no doubt in my mind, Drew, that if you wanted to, you could probably rant all the way up until Ebony Bridges' Friday weigh-in in lingerie. Hit the freaking like if you like what Drew and I are doing. I know we have not been dedicated to Monday nights like we have recently, but Drew's brought up so many great points. For one, we haven't even talked about it, but it looks like John Ryder is going to be Canelo Alvarez's opponent for Cinco de Mayo in Las Vegas. If that ain't some shit, I mean, we're talking about Plant Benavidez and all these guys and that are probably a lot more interesting competitive fights. And today, Eddie Hearn says, you know, it's most likely going to be John Ryder. That's what I get to look forward to May 5th. You guys can always look forward to the Shoe Shine coming out at least once a week. So make sure you guys are subscribed, hit the like, drop a comment for Drew. Keep us motivated. We appreciate all that. We'd love to hit 500 subscribers by this December before the end of the year. It's been a great show, guys. I want to give you guys my thoughts, man. One of my good friends, Jay Chaudhry, who had a media company, Break Media NYC, he helped fighters promote themselves online. He had put forward this week a tweet where he said, if there was a market value for one person to buy all of boxing and eliminate the 4 sanctioning bodies and just be under one roof, one umbrella, what would that market value be? Guys, think about it. What would that market value be to have all fighters under 110 and only have one champion per division? In the NFL, nobody competes with the NFL. XFL, all these other, Canadian Football League, this shit don't compare. We know who the best football team is every year, but we never know who the best boxer in each division is. I would welcome it at this point. When I hear shit like the WWE says that they want to buy a boxing organization, why not just buy the whole damn shit? Because every week, every time there's a pay-per-view, I got to hear it from my friends that watch the UFC, that the UFC is so much more entertaining than boxing. And we know that ain't true. We know that shit ain't true. But you know what? They got one guy and they got all their fighters. For the majority of them, the best talent in the world is under one roof. And it just makes it so much easier to follow their sport, right? We actually got to work at it. Like Drew said, this is a love-hate relationship. We love the sport of boxing. We hate it at times. And then every so often, a Saturday comes along where you say, you know what? This is the best freaking sport in the world. It just is. And that's why we're here listening to the Shoe Shine, listening to Drew rant, listening to all the other great YouTube community shows. I'll be on the roundtable tomorrow with our boy D Styles Boxing. Make sure you guys watch that tomorrow at 5 p.m. Again, I'm Dave from the 408. In just 2 weeks, I'll be in Vegas to watch this PBC fight. It's just right around the corner. Excited to be back out there. Leave us a comment. Enjoy all the great fights this weekend. We will see you guys next week. Make sure to hit the notification bell. Appreciate and love everybody out here. Happy holidays. Peace out, guys.